Right. Good morning, all of you. So today we start about a new topic called constraints. What's the name? Constraints. Okay. So what is the meaning of constraint? It means a condition or a rule. Condition or a rule. Okay. It's constraint, guys. It means what? It means a condition or a rule. So many chairs are there. Right. So we'll see now what is the meaning of condition, what is the meaning of a rule. Okay. So we know how to create a table now, right? We know creating a table, right? So in every table we have the n number of columns. We have n number of columns. On the columns, I want to keep the condition. On the columns, I want to keep the condition that is called a constraint. All of you. On the columns, I want to keep the condition. The condition is called a constraint. A constraint. Okay. For example, SNO is there. Student number, right? The student number, the values should not be duplicate. First condition should not be duplicate because IDs are never duplicate. Next one, every person must have the one ID. Every person must have the one ID. So here I want to keep two conditions. One condition is the values should not be duplicate. At the same time, every person must have one value compulsorily. Okay, like that, I keep the condition here. I keep the condition. Suppose no condition is there. Up to now, I did not keep the condition. If I give the duplicates, it will take 101, again 101, again 101. There are no ideas, it will take. Why? Because of no conditions. Right? Next one. Suppose let's take the passed out year, guys. Right? Passed out year. So the passed out year, the maximum year, which year? Current year or the previous year. I'm taking the students of up to 2021 only. Right? So here are 22 guys. Here we should not give the value more than 22. More than 22. If I try to give the more than 22, I want to throw error. But right now, in this case, no condition is there. It will take all the values. You can give, for example, if I give the 2030 also, it will take passed out year generally. But it's invalid, right? It's invalid. The maximum year, which year up to 2022 only the maximum current passed out years. Right? Next one now, coming to percentage. Percentage should not be more than 100. More than 100. The same time below, not less than 0. Right? Next, every person must have one branch compulsorily. One branch must be there. The branch can be duplicate. For example, Sai, CSC, at the same time, Akila, CSC. Yes, it can be duplicate, no problem. In this column, the values can be duplicate. But every person must have the one branch. Same here also, the college name can be duplicate. Suppose Sai from which college? ABC. At the same time, Akash also from ABC. Yes, possibility is there. At the same time, every person must have the one college name compulsorily. Is on the video, it means compulsory one college is there. Like that, I want to keep the conditions on the columns. So that while giving the data, they check the constraint. The constraint is valid, they take the data. If it's invalid, they will throw error. All of you. On the columns, I'll give the constraints. I'll give the conditions. Okay. So now, while giving the data, I give the insert, right? Insert into table name, some values of like this. I click enter. First, check the conditions. My values, check the conditions. If condition is true, the data will insert. If condition is false, the data will not insert. For example, I am giving here a new person data, guys. I am giving a new person 112 person. I am giving here. Okay, I kept the condition. Here. The passed out year. Which one? Maximum which year? 22 only. Less than I want this year. And percentage also I kept here maximum how much here? 100 only. But I'm inserting data like this, inserting, so insert into some table name, students of data values of, I'm giving one, okay, 112, I'm giving some name, let's take the, suppose Rajesh here. Next, I'm giving the college name, some ABC, right? And branch, I'm giving some CSC, right? CSC. I'm giving the percentage, suppose 120 percentage, for example, guys. I'm giving 2023, okay, and I'm giving suppose mail like this. That's all. Now, if I click enter, so on the S number, any condition is there? No condition. So yes, here no problem. On the S name, any condition is there? No condition. Yes, no problem. And college name, no condition. And branch, no condition. And the percentage, and the on condition is there. What condition? The maximum value, how much here? 100. How much I'm giving here? 120. Means this all data will not insert now. That all data will not insert. It will throw error. So I'm like a condition failed like this. Means before giving the data, check the condition. For all the columns, check all the conditions. If all satisfy, then all data will insert. If any condition is failed, all data will not insert. Okay, that is the part of which one constraints, right? So in that case, there are different constraints are there in SQL. Different constraints. Take the notes. Dividing constraints, right? Constraints. Right there. Constraint is a condition or rule that is applied on the column constraint is a condition or a rule that is applied on the column the table, right? The table. Next, constraints will be checked while data is inserting. Next, if all constraints are satisfied, then the data will be inserted. Next, if any one constraint is failed, then the data will not be inserted. Or next one, types of constraints. Take first one, null constraint. First one null. Second one, not null, not null. Third one, primary key. Fourth one, unique key. Fifth one, check. And sixth one, default. And seventh one is foreign key constraint. Foreign key constraint. Null, not null, primary key, unique key, check, default, foreign key. Right. What's first one? First one is null constraint. First one is null constraint. Right, null constraint. Generally, observe null means no value. That's all. Null means no value. Okay, just right there. Null means no value. Null means no, right? Null means no value. Null means no value. Null means no value, right? So now all of observe here. So if you take the null, on any column, then they allow null values, right? Suppose observe a student name is there, and student name apply null. So a student name allows no values. Means if you don't give value also, it will take. If you don't give the value also, it allows. This simply displays a null, a new value. And the default rule for all is null only. By default for all, what is the constraint? Null is there. Student number, null is there by default. Student name, null is there. College name, null is there. Branch, null. Every column by default having the null constraint. That's why every column allows null value by default. If you see, while inserting data, while learning the insert command at the time we used null. So I'm giving the data for a few columns. And many columns take null automatically. Because those columns having the null constraint as a default constraint. Okay, right. In the notes now, null is the default constraint. Default constraint for every column in the table. Every column in the table. That's why every column allows null value by default. Null value by default. Every column allows null value by default. Open the MySQL. Now, what is the password? Database name. Use MySQL 7 AM DB, right? Already some databases are there. Sorry, some tables are there in the database. How to see tables? Show tables. We have 3 tables, right? So course data is there, employee data, and students data. Okay. Now I'm going to create a new table for this null constraint. Right? Just observe all of it. Just observe. I take the table name null table like this, null tab. Right, observe here. So create create table. Let's take the, for example, null table of, I take the ID, which is integer. Now, so ID column over ID and take an integer, right? Integer. So what is the data? What is the constraint here? Default. What is default is there, but default null, right? Null is there. The default null is there, guys. Okay. The default null is there here. Suppose I can give the manually null also like this. The default null is already. If you give also, no problem. All right. So for ID, I take the default. For name, which is varchar of some 20, I am giving here null. Just imagine now, I am giving the one, but default null, I am giving second one, I am giving manually null value. Let's take the suppose last one, salary int, that also take the null like this. All of you. Now the table created, while giving the data, insert into null tab values of what's first one, ID. I am giving the value ID. Now name, I am giving the null. Yes, allows null value. For salary also, I am giving the null, allows null value. That's all. Now here name and salary, I am giving the null values, right? Null values. Just get inserted. Next one, for example, I want to give that null for all. I want to give null for all, guys. Okay, null for all. Observe here. Insert into our table name. Null tab. Suppose values of ID. Null I am giving. You can give uppercase, lowercase, no problem. The SQL is not case sensitive. Okay. Then name null. I'll give salary some 10,000 like this. All right. So it's fine. Next one, insert into null tab values of null comma null. All of you null. Yes, it's also possible. All right. Suppose observe one more way. Insert into null tab. Which one? Null, right? Null tab. Now values of, I am giving ID. Again, I am giving duplicate here. But already is there. I am giving again one more time. Okay, no problem, guys. Because on the ID, I kept the null. Null means no. So null means allow null value. That's all. Do not talk about whether allow duplicates are not, unique or not. No. Null means allow null value. That's all. Okay. You can take unique also, no problem. I am giving the name. I'm giving name, for example, Sai, guys. I want to stop here. If I click enter, then what will happen here? If I click enter, does the record will create or it will throw error? Huh? If I click enter, does it create error or it will throw error? Huh? Which one? Error. Why error? So in the table, how many columns are there in the table? How many? 3 columns are there. ID, name, and the salary. Now, how many values you are giving here? 2 you are giving. These 2 going for what? For example, 2 going to ID and Sai going to the name. What about the salary? What about salary here? We have specified. We have specified that 2 going to only ID, and Sai going to the name. So I'm taking 2 columns, specify 2 values, specify 2 columns here. Automatically, third will take null value. In this case, it will throw error because the column does not match. Column count not match with which one, row 1. In the row, how many are there? 2 values are there. But here, how many columns are there? 3 are there, not matching. So in this case, what to do? In this case, after table, in the bracket specify the 2 going to the ID, just Sai going to, for example, name. That's all. Now it's third one. Salary, it will take null by default. It takes null by default. Now check the data. Select to star from what here? Null tab. Okay, null tab. You can see taking the null automatically the third value. All of you, right? So to this example, Or right. Second one. The second one, not null, right? Now keep it. Second one, not null constraint. Right. Not null constraint. Not null. Not null constraint does not allow. Does not allow null value. Does not allow null value. Does not allow null value. So what does it mean? So it does not allow null value means user must give one value compulsory. All of right. So not allow null values means what's the meaning now? We must give the values compulsory. Null, no value. So we have to give the values compulsory. Okay, right. We see one table here. We see the one table. All of you observe now. So I create the table. Create table. Take the not null tab of ID int which is not null. That's all. ID int not null means ID. In ID compulsory one value must be there. In ID must be value is there. Maybe unique value or duplicate. It doesn't matter. Not only means value must be there, right? Next, I take the name, which is a varchar of, some 20. Here also, I take the which one not null, but salary, and take the salary. Okay, salary int. That's all. Now, what is the constraint for salary? What is there? Null is there here by default. If you don't specify any constraint like this, by default, what is there here? Null is there. Now, out of these three, for ID, for name, compulsory value must be given. For salary, you can give the null value also, right? Let us try now. So insert into okay, not null tab values of I am giving one, I am giving psi, I am giving null. Any problem is there now? So I am giving the one value to the ID. Yes, fine, because not null. I am giving value for the name. Yes, I am giving null for the salary. Yes, no problem, because salary is the by default null. Okay, null field. Yes, hello sir. Now what do I do here? For ID, I am giving the null. I am giving the name, some money here. I am giving the salary something 20,000. If I click enter, what will happen now? It will throw error, right? Error. Why error? Column ID cannot be null. Column ID column cannot be null. Why? I specified here ID is the not null. So ID will not allow null values. Okay. Next one. Let me try for the which one name, guys. I'm taking the ID2. I take the null here for the name. Then if I click enter, what happens now? Again, same error, right? What is error now? Name, column name cannot be null, right? Column name cannot be null. So both ID and the name, they will not allow null values because they specify the ID not null, name also not null, right? So finally, what's the table now? Select to star from which one now? Not null tab, right? Tab. What is there here? Only the first row is there, which is valid. So this row only satisfying the these conditions. Which row? This row is inserted, but it is not satisfying. It's also not satisfying. These both are not inserted. Okay, right. Take this one. Right. What's the third one? Primary key. Third one is a primary key. It's very important in interviews, guys. The primary key and the unique key and the foreign key. These three very, very important in interviews. What is difference between primary key, unique key? A difference between primary key and the foreign key, like this. Okay, right. Now, all of observe here. So primary key, right? So if you apply primary key or any column, it will not allow null values, plus it will not allow duplicates also. Two conditions apply for single constraint. What's first one? Na? What's first one here? So no null values, no null values. At the same time, no duplicates also. That is which one? Primary key. Like it's perfectly suitable for IDs. Employee number, student number, student number. Every student has a number. It must be unique number. It has the number. Means value is there, but that value is the unique value. In that case, you apply what here? Okay, primary key. All of right. So just observe here. Don't write. Just observe here. I'll take the create table. I'll take the PK tab, primary key table of ID, which is integer. I am giving now primary key. I am giving here primary key. Primary key. Right? Next name. Name which is varchar of some 20. I am giving here not null. Not null. And the salary, just I am not giving anything. That means by default, what is there? Null is there. Right? Now an ID column, I am applying which one here? Primary key. That means now ID column will not allow null values. The same time ID column will not allow duplicates also. Okay. Right. Now just observe here. Now insert into what's table name? PK tab values of I am giving the ID one, the name Sai I am giving here, and I am giving the on salary value normally I am giving 10,000, right? When if I click enter, okay, first of all, these three values check the three conditions here. If all satisfying, then data will insert. If anyone is failed, the full data will not insert. Okay, first, okay, one is there. I'm going to ID. It's empty table. Till now, data is not there. So no duplicates. At the same time, some value is coming, means primary key satisfied. Next, name worker not null. Yeah, some value is coming, satisfied. And salary int, some value coming, right? Satisfied. Next one, all of observe here. I am giving the again same one. I change the name. Okay, change the name. All of you change the name. We take the some 20,000. Right. If I click enter, then what will happen now? In the table, already one is there. Already one is available already. Again, I am giving the one for ID. So I am saying that ID is a primary key. I am giving the duplicate one. Already one is there. I am giving the one more one. If I click enter, you can see duplicate entry one for the PK tab of primary. Means duplicate entry one you are giving. Means already one is there. Again you are giving the one. So what's happening here? It's not taking the data because of duplicate. Okay. Next, let's try for the. I take the which one compulsorily. I take the null for example, guys. I take the null and name value and salary also value is there. If I click enter, then what displays now? Error. What's the error number? Error number. This number. See, when I'm giving null value, then error number which one here? Generally, we don't require, but working, the employees remember the error numbers. I got the 1048 error. That means what's meaning here? About some null value problem. That's meaning. Here also null value problem, right? Now what error comes here? Then if I click enter, you can see 1048 column ID cannot be null. Right? Cannot be null. Next one. So compulsorily one new number must be there. I am giving the 3. Is it possible? Already 1 is there. 2 not giving. I am giving 3. Is it possible? Or I am giving something like 10. Is it possible? Yes, possible. Here, no need sequence. Just the value should not be available all in the database table. That's all. Okay. No problem. It's possible, guys. Let me take that too. And for name also, I am giving the null. So what happens here? Compulsorily, error will come, right? Suppose for name, I am giving the size. Then what happens now? What happens here? It creates an ATA. Creates already what is there? Size is then already. Already the table, one size is there. I am giving 2. ID is different. I am giving same name, right? I am giving same name here. Same name. What's error name? Error number? It creates. Why? Because on the name, what is not there? Primary key is not there. Provide the duplicates. Not null is there. Not null means what's the meaning? No null values. If you give same name n number of times, no problem. Okay. So here no error. It creates this. Okay. Now check the table. Select to star from what? Okay, tab, right? Yes, you can see now. Right? IDs are unique, but names can be duplicate or unique, no problem. Because what is there here? Not null is there. And what is there here? Null. Null is there. Here, null is also possible. Right? This is one point. So next one, observe all of them. So what is the primary key? It will not allow null values and also no duplicates. So the question is, can you apply multiple primary keys in single table or not? If you see in the previous case, in single table, not null is taken, again not null taken. Means we're taking the multiple not null, right? We're taking the multiple not null. The same case in single table, can you take multiple primary keys or not? Like ID into primary key, name into primary key, like that. Salary into primary key, like that. Can you take primary key multiple times or not in single table? Okay, that's not possible, guys. That's not possible. Observe here. So create table, create tab 2. Now I just take the int, which is a, I take the ID, which is int. Let me take the primary key, primary key, right? Over. Next, I take the name, which is a where can have some 20, right? Now here also I'm taking now which one, right? Primary key, guys. Some salary I'm taking the int like this. Now if I click enter, it will throw error. Why error? Because of multiple primary keys in single table, it will throw error. Multiple primary key defined. In a single table, we define the multiple primary keys, that is the problem. So what's the meaning here? A table allows only one primary key. Okay, right. Take the notes. First, primary key will not allow null values and duplicate values. Will not allow null values and duplicate values. So this is third one, right? Null over, not null over, primary key. So one question is there. In the primary key, one default constraint is available already. What is that? Which one? Null. In the primary key, what is the available constraint? And the constraint is there. Why not null? Because not null meaning which one? No null value. Here also no null value, right? If you put a primary key, here also what is happening? No null values. That's why the primary key has a not null inbuilt. Yes or no? Why? Because here also no null values. Means what is the meaning here? Not null. Because there also no null values. Okay, right. Primary key constraint has not null constraint, internally because primary key not allow null values like not null constraint. Or Or right, a good point here. Only one primary key. One primary key is allowed for one table, right? For one table, guys. Only one primary key is allowed for one table. For one table. Or right. How many over? Null, not null, and the memory key. Next, what is remaining? Unique, default, check on the foreign key, right? Keep it unique key, unique, unique key constraint, unique key constraint, unique key constraint. Unique key constraint. So unique key means what's the meaning here? It will not allow duplicates. That's all. Unique means one unique values, no duplicates. All of right, like that. Now observe here. All of observe. So I'll create the table. Create a table. Just you create tab unique table of ID, which is integer. I take the primary key now. Primary key. Now I'll take here, for example, name guys, name varchar of which is 20. So we'll take here mobile number, for example, guys. Okay, mobile which is integer, and I am giving the unique here. I am giving the unique, not unique key, only with the unique only. In case of primary key we specify. The unique key specify only unique, not the key. Okay, but we say that unique key constraint. Now, so in this table, we have three constants and three columns. An ID column, what is there? Primary key is there. And name, what is there? Oh, name null is there by default. If I keep not null, means no null values. And on a mobile, what is there now? Unique is there, right? Unique is there. Now, right? Insert the data, insert into unique tab of values, right? Values of. So we know about the primary key. I'm giving the one. So I'm giving the Sai here. Now mobile, right? I am giving some mobile number like this. All of you. Okay, I give some mobile number. Right. Now run this one. Run this one. Oh, we should take the bigger. Okay. Now all of you, I just give the small number guys as mobile number. Imagine like this. All of okay. Now what is happening here? So an ID primary key is there. I am giving the value. And name not null is there. Yes, value is given. Unique, right? Okay, some value is given, guys. Now what do I do here? If I take the same one, it will throw error. When about the primary key, change the number 2. The name can be same name, no problem. Why? On the name, what constant is there? Not null, right? Not null is there. So errors duplicates, no problem. Now what do? I take the same mobile number, for example. I take the same mobile number. Now observe here. It says that duplicate entry. This number for what here? You get tab mobile, and mobile you are giving the duplicate value. Means so if I give the unique, what's the meaning here? It will not allow duplicate values. Then what about null values? See, primary key also same. Primary key also no duplicates. Unique also no duplicates. Primary key no null also. What about the unique? Okay, let us try now. I go here. Just I take the null. For unique, right? For unique, I am giving the null. Yes, it allows. One null allow. If I try to go second null, already 2 over here ID. I am giving 3. Change the some name. Change the name, for example, like this. I am giving again one more null again. Yes, possible. All right. Means here the unique constraint will allow null values, but not the duplicate values. All right. Now, anyone tell me now difference between a primary key unique key now? Primary key unique key. Primary key? Anyone tell me? Anyone? Correct. Right. So it allows null, how many null? N number of null values. Okay, very good. Read the notes. Unique constraint. Unique constraint or unique constraint does not allow which one? Does not allow, right? Duplicate, okay? Does not allow duplicate values, but it allows what? It allows okay, one or more null values. One or more null values. It allows one or more null values. Okay. It allows one or more null values. So find out the table here. Select the star from the table name UK tab, right? Or right. So we stop it now. Continue tomorrow. Okay. Right.